Hey, today I'll be showing you how to set up an author website in WordPress. I have just installed WordPress, rather I put the files for WordPress onto a server that I'm running here on my laptop, and I set up a database already. Most of you won't have to do this beginning steps because shared hosting or any host really, nowadays almost always have an automatic install for WordPress, but you'll see this first part anyway. And all this first stuff did was just set up the database. And again, usually when you set up WordPress on a host, it will give you a similar form, even though it doesn't look like this, and then you'll just punch in what you want these things to be. So for the example, I'm going to set up a website for one of my favorite authors in the whole world, who is long since passed. And since I'm not actually putting this online, this is just staying on a little testing server and then will be deleted when I'm done. I'm going to make the password cheesy. So this information is what you'll be putting in when you do your install process, even if you're not using this specific form. All right. All right, so now WordPress, the database is all set up, and we can really get to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few pages. Right now it's got a sample page, which I don't need, so I'll trash it. I'm going to make one that I'm just going to call, then I'm going to just call home, and I'm going to leave these blank, the content blank for right now. We'll set that up later. Let's see. And this is something that you should think about before you go about installing your website, is what pages you're actually going to need. All right, and even if you don't want to use WordPress as a blog, I still want you to set up a page and call it blog for reasons which will be made clear here in a little bit. All right, so I've got several pages here. We can click over here on the left on the all pages, and you can see I've got 6 pages ready to go. The next part of the setup, we're going to drop down here to the settings, click on General. And here on the tagline, I want you to erase where it says just another WordPress site. You could put something like writer of novels or action adventure author, something about you, or you can just leave it blank. But when you're done making that change, go ahead and click Save Changes. Now I want you to drop down here to permalinks, and the one that comes automatically selected is fine. It's just prettier than where it only has the numbers. So if the day and time is selected, you're good to go. Otherwise, change it to that and click Save Changes. Great, now we're going to install the theme that I want to use. And there's a lot of themes that would work for a good author website, but I'm just going to pick one that looks pretty good and does what I want it to. So WordPress comes with several installed, but I want a new one, so I click Add New, and then this takes you to a repository that WordPress runs. Just search for one called Astrid. Click Install. It'll think really hard while it goes to fetch the files for it. Click Activate, Now there's nothing really going on your site, but if you wanted to, you can take a look and just see. Right now we have all the pages that I put in up there, and it looks just kind of like a blog with a big giant header thing here. We're going to fix that here in just a sec. Now we're going to customize that theme to make it even better. You can do that by selecting customize here or customize over on your left hand menu. Takes you same place. First thing we're going to do is click down here on static front page. And we're going to select home as being the front page and blog as being the posts page. Go ahead and click save and publish. And now this will make it, if you go and look at your site, and it's showing you a preview there, but if you go and look at your site, now the home page, which has no content, comes up as what people will see when they first hit your website. So now we're going to continue setting up that theme. Here on site branding, don't have a logo, but there is a site title, tagline, site icon, those are all good. The header area, now we'll be able to start changing this stuff. So on header media, and I already have some stuff set up, or picked out. This is going to ask me to crop it, which is fine. Let's pick something that I like. And I'm going to use that same image down here for the small screens, even though I don't have to crop the image for that one. So now we can see we've got a lovely background from A Princess of Mars in our header. So this big header area looks a little bit more professional, or at least it looks more like the author we're trying to shoot for here. Now we're going to set up some text so we don't just have this grayed out picture here in the front. And generally this would be something that you wanted the user or the site visitor to do. So in this case, it's going to be like get a free ebook. And we would, depending on what service you use, if you're going to deliver a free ebook, you would put the website address in here. Okay, so you can see it was thinking really hard. Gonna hit save and publish, and just for fun, I'm going to exit out here so you can see again what that looks like. And as you change size, you can see that it's responsive. Anyway, that would be your big call to action for marketing purposes. All right, so now we've got our header area set up all right. The next thing I want to do is remove this link to the blog. For right now, we're just going to set this up as an author website that doesn't have any news. Now we can add that back in at the end if you so desire and if you're going to use it. So what we need to do is make a custom menu for that header area. I'm going to go back to customize. Then we're going to click down here on the menu to menus. Now we're going to make a custom menu. So we'll say add a menu, and we're just going to call it basic. You can call it anything. And now we need to add items to it. So we do want to link to the home page. We do not want to link to the blog, or at least the blog section of the website. Link to the books page, link to the contact page, and link to the about page. You can also do custom links. If you say this sign up link actually went to InstaFreebie or somewhere, you could make another link on there that would say, you put the text of whatever you want the link to say, and then the web address of where it would actually take them. So now this menu, we want this to show up in primary, which is at the top of the web page, and in the footer, which is down below. So now we've set it to both of those. We'll hit save and publish, and we'll take a look and see what we've done. Oops. It's telling me that I'm not done. Oh well. So now here we see that it's dropped the blog because now we're using this custom menu. And we could, in fact, link to the newsletter, and that same menu shows up down here again. All right, next step. Now that we've got kind of the basic navigation stuff worked out, we're going to install a couple of plugins. So click on the plugins page. We're going to say add new, and again it hooks up to its repository of plugins. And the first one to search for is called Page Builder by Site Origin. Go ahead and click install. Now the next one is the Site Origin Widgets bundle. We'll go ahead and install that. And when it is done thinking, we'll be able to, all right, so click over here on installed plugins. We're going to activate both of those. Just click the link to activate them. Basically what those are, they'll allow us to have more fancy layouts on our pages, which will be good especially for the landing page of, for an author's website. So the next step is we're going to actually do the layout of that front page. So from the pages, we'll say home. And now we get an extra tab here because we installed that plugin called Page Builder. We're going to click on that. And what we'll need to do is add rows of information. So the first one that I want to add is just a row that only has one column. And don't worry if this looks a little technical at first. It is, but you get quite used to it pretty fast. We'll insert that, and then I'm going to add a couple more rows. The first row, we're going to have 3 columns. Add another row with just 1 column. And then another row with 2, except I want it to look more like that. All right, and so as you can see, there's kind of a basic layout looking picture here. We're going to add content to each of these cells of this layout. So basically what I'm going to do is up here I'm going to add a little text that says my books or most popular books, and then in each of these 3 cells I'm going to put a big picture of an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel, and below the picture there'll be a link that says buy me. Then down here I'll have something that says about Edgar Rice Burroughs, a picture of him, and some text that I cribbed from Wikipedia. And it's a pretty good idea to kind of design this on paper first so that it makes it much easier for you once you actually get into building this page. So we'll click in the first cell. We can click up here to say add widget. If you can right click, you can also right click. And we're going to say Site Origin Editor. Basically what that means is that you're going to put text. The Site Origin Editor is very similar to the standard WordPress editor that we clicked out of. So we click on Edit. We can give it a title, even though I'm not going to put any text. I'm just going to say most popular books. Sorry, I can't type and speak at the same time. And then down here, we're going to start filling this in. I'm going to add an image, and then I'm also, right click again, going to add a button. So here, adding it the other way, I could say add widget, and it gives you a bunch more different widgets that you can put in there. But I want an image, and then a Site Origin button. Same thing here. Now, even though we haven't told the page what these are yet, that's fine. So I'll click on Edit. At this point, choose Media. The only thing we have uploaded so far is that background image, so we're going to go to Upload Files. Set Media. Image size full. Alt text. That's text that's shown when somebody can't see pictures. So it's also good for Google to know what is on your website. So I'm just going to say Tarzan cover. You could give it a destination URL. That's just like a website. I could put, the link to the Amazon book or whatever, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I will link on the button. So the button text, we'll say buy now. And then I would put the full Amazon website, the web address of the purchase for the book. Down here under design and layout, the button color, because it will be pretty boring at first, I'm going to just pick the blue off there. Now you could move this around anywhere and get any color buttons you want, but this blue looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but I'm going to do the same thing for these other 4. Now that I've uploaded the 3 pictures for the 3 books and put in buttons, I'm going to click this Update button. And then I'm going to preview these changes. I'm going to just take a look and see what the page is kind of looking like now. Here's what we saw before. And we see we've got our nice 3 book covers by now. Now, for the front page of a website that doesn't have a blog, none of this stuff over here on the right makes sense. So what we're going to do is over here on the page attributes, we're going to choose full width as the template. Click Update again. This time when we look at it, they're gone. And my pictures look a little bigger because they were a little bigger to begin with. It'll automatically shrink them down if there's not enough room. So anyway, that's looking pretty good so far. So let's keep going and add some more content here to the front page. Down here in this, I'm going to add 2 things. I'm going to add a new button. And then I'm going to add another editor. So this button is just going to be a button that takes you to the books page so that you can see all the books. And that's what we'll say here. But we're going to format it slightly differently. So instead of putting the Amazon link here, what you can do is you click Select Content, and now it will link directly to that page. Let's see, Design. We can align that button wherever we want on that same row. Sorry, I don't know if you could hear that, but my computer was giving me like a zillion notifications. All right, so where was I? You can set a specific width if you want the button to be extra large. What I want is an extra large button, so I'll set the font size to extra large. Oh, did I pick a... I'm going to pick a green color this time. And then down in this editor, I'm just going to say all right, so let's just click Update and see what the page is looking like again. Here's the books. There's the big button that we just did. You can see this takes us to the books page. Then about Edgar Rice Burroughs. Okay. Continuing to build. Right in here, we're going to add that picture of the author and one more editor. So in this case, I'm just going to copy and paste a little bit of text again, that I stole from the Wikipedia. Then over here, need to upload a new file. And I've got a picture of them again, stolen from the Wikipedia. So now when we update, we have a pretty good front page. Nothing to be sad about here. And you can change, if you don't like the fact that it says home here, it is relatively simple to come up here and you just erase it up here. It will remember the name of the page, but it will no longer be there. So there we are, most popular books. And again, all of this is responsive. If you make it smaller, too much, it will eventually, so on a mobile phone, bump it all into a single column. As soon as it gets big enough, and we'll display all of it. All right, so a lot of our pages, we're going to be doing that same setup. I'm only going to set up one more page that we have here, and that, let's see, we'll do the About page. And if you're looking at it and you're logged in, you can just click up here and you can go to edit it. So for most of these pages, everything except for the blog page, I'm going to want to change this default template the template to be instead full width, and I'll want to use the page builder. So again, we add a row. And that's how I would like this one. And I'm going to add basically the same thing I added before, just an image and an editor. And I'm going to copy and paste a much longer block of text here. So up here, again, copy and pasted a bunch of text. And since we've already uploaded this picture once, I'm going to use the same one. You can just select it from your media library. You don't have to go to upload files. We hit done. And I would, if I were laying this out as a site, the books page would be about the same. As I would just keep adding rows, add the cover over on this side, and then text about it along with links or a couple of buttons over here on the right hand side so people can go purchase the book. So now what this looks like, we've got a much longer page, but it looks pretty good. Now the video is already running long, so I'm not going to do it in this video. I may do it later if people care. But there are many plugins to add a contact form that we could put onto the contact page. You know what? Who cares? Let's take a look here and just see if we can find one. Add new plugin. This one looks pretty popular, so I'm just going to install it. Should have prepared this one beforehand, but this is how much I love you all. There's a settings here. Edit contact form 1. Let's see. Oh, it's already pulled my email from when I set up the website as the admin. Man, that's pretty slick. And then up here, as I'm editing, I've noticed that it has this shortcode. So what you do is you will select it and copy it. Then when you want to use it, you'll paste this little block of text into that page. So over here on the pages, we're going to go to the contact page and edit it. Change that template, and then over here, I'm just going to paste it. I could use that, but that little block of text, say update. Then when I view the page, this contact form is automatically shown. Now, if I wanted to, if I thought that that was a little too much space, I could embed that as well into one of the site builder editors, and then over here on the right hand side put a nice picture of a mailbox or anything. But I think this works just fine. So I guess that wasn't so hard after all, adding a contact page. And down below here, if I wanted to, I could put links. I would say like my Twitter. There's also this visual editor, which might be a little easier for you, but if you select my Twitter, say click the little chain button, which signifies a link, then you could put the address to your Twitter feed. And you can say whatever you'd like. And you do the same thing for a link to your Facebook page or whatever. I guess now let's decide to add back in the blog. So before, what we did is we removed that link to the blog. It might technically still be there, but nobody can find it, so it doesn't feel like part of your website. And what we'll do is where'd it go? Here under Appearance, click on Menus. And this is the other place that you can go to edit your menus. Right here, we have that basic menu that we set up before. And what we want to do is I want to add a link to the blog page, so we add it. And if we want, depending on where we want it in this list, you can just drag it up where you think it belongs. Click Save Menu. Now, there it showed back up. And now it looks kind of more like a regular standard blog. You've got links to your recent posts and all that kind of stuff. If you want to change what is actually in there, you will edit it much the same way that we did that menu. So here under Appearance, Widgets, this is that sidebar that we saw. So this defines what shows up right here. And we have a couple more widget areas. There's 3 columns down here that you can add more widgets should you desire them. But it's pretty easy. If you don't want something in here, you can delete it and it won't show up anymore in your sidebar. So editing this is pretty easy. If you want something else, you can even add those same site origin things if you wanted over into your sidebar, if you wanted a picture or just some random text over here. So that pretty well does it. We're almost half an hour in, but we've set up an author site that does not look like crap and that will help you get signups for your newsletter, sell your books, and in general just not look like a total amateur set this up. All right, if you have any questions, you can contact me, Bryce@storyhack.com, or leave a comment here and maybe someday I'll see it. All right, thanks and good luck everybody. As I was going over the recording that I just made with this tutorial, I realized that I left out kind of 2 sort of important things. One is that once you get off your computer and you want to log back in, it's not always clear exactly how to do so. So you'll just go to your website and in my case, it looks like this because, you know what, you can't even see that. Let me drag it down. Okay, so I don't have a web address because this is just a testing server that I set up, but you would go to your whatever.com/wp-login.php, and then it will take you to this login form that you see here. Then you'll be able to log in again so your site isn't just frozen forever. The other thing is, I realized that if you are planning on using the blog, that from then on you won't be using the pages much, but you will be using posts. So you'll just go to post, add a new post, and then any blog type messages and there's now if you want to see it, that's what it looks like here, and then you see it shows up on the list of posts there. Okay, for realsies now, we're done. Bye.